we will be going Mahomes, T2, T3, T4, 5, 6, 7, and that's how we are going to be breaking it down. Now, this is also going to be based off of my own opinions, so don't get mad. You go, what? Why did you put Dak Prescott in tier 5? Because I wanted to. Because that's what I truly believe. I am not going to make this for rage bait. I am not making this for anything like that. But we're going to go through, and I'm going to actually try my best to rank these quarterbacks. Now, I think I'm going to start in order. So we will start here with Aidan O'Connell. Aidan O'Connell, decent quarterback. You know, he had his moments and his time to shine for the Raiders, but they bring in Geno Smith, and I think that his time is up for the Raiders. Will he get a pity start if they're out of the playoffs? Probably, but Aidan O'Connell right now I have as a tier 6 quarterback. I just don't think that he is starter caliber right now in the NFL, but can he be serviceable if he needs to be put in that spot? I do. But for right now, Aidan O'Connell, he's not the worst of the worst. There are worse people on this list, in my opinion. But is Aidan O'Connell one of the worst quarterbacks? If he was starting, he would be one of the worst starting quarterbacks in all of the NFL, in my opinion. Anthony Richardson, highs and lows. You know, everybody is scared of him because of his rushing upside, and the dude has a cannon for an arm. He just can't find the accuracy into the whole thing last year where he was sitting out because he was tired, and everybody's like, well, you can't do that if you're a starting quarterback in the NFL. I get it. That is why I think right now I am going to have Anthony Richardson as a tier 5 quarterback. Where you fear him a lot more than Aidan O'Connell, but it's just not there. The reads aren't there. The throwing accuracy isn't there. The throw power is there, and he'll run you over when he's on the field. I mean, he beat my Steelers last year, or did he beat us? I forget. Was that Joe Flacco? I think it was Joe Flacco. Yeah, but he's somebody that you fear, but once you start playing against him and he's making a few bad reads and a few bad mistakes, you realize that you have the game in the bag. So Anthony Richardson could potentially get up to a tier 3 if he actually plays well this year. There are reports that Daniel Jones may be playing better than him right now in camp. But right now, I have Anthony Richardson as a tier 5 quarterback in the NFL. Then we move on to Aaron Rodgers, the newest signee of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers had a very down year last year. He had a very down year his last couple years. His last year in Green Bay wasn't sunshine and rainbows. And he had a lot to say about the New York Jets and his qualms with their running game and how their running game didn't make any sense, and that's why the offense just didn't work. I get that, but at the same time, Aaron Rodgers still isn't at the level of what we would expect Aaron Rodgers to be, and that's to be expected because he is 40 years old. Now, do you fear Aaron Rodgers more than you do an Anthony Richardson? You absolutely do, and that's why I will put in Aaron Rodgers at a tier 4, where he's still going to make throws. Those back shoulder throws are still deadly. He's going to sling the ball. He is a gunslinger type quarterback. He's not going to scare you with his legs like Anthony Richardson can, but he could carve you up through the air. That is just what Aaron Rodgers can do. That is what he's been doing for years, and even at his prime age of 40, 41, I don't even know how old he is right now. He's old for an NFL quarterback. He's still much more scary than Anthony Richardson, in my opinion. So I am going to put Aaron Rodgers as a tier 4 quarterback. Now, Baker Mayfield is finding a career resurgence as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback, and now he has weapons galore. Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, and obviously Mike Evans. There is no reason that Baker Mayfield should not be putting up godly numbers in that piss-poor AFC South. He should be torching them to oblivion. And I really like Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield is scary on the ground. I think Baker Mayfield is scary through the air. Baker Mayfield right now is much more scary than an Aaron Rodgers, and that is why I am having Baker Mayfield as a tier 3 quarterback, where he's scarier than Rodgers throwing it right now just based off of his age. Aaron Rodgers still has zip on the ball, but Baker Mayfield, I don't know, there's just something about him right now. He's playing like a young Aaron Rodgers. Not fully, because Aaron was putting up MVP numbers, but you get what I'm saying. he's playing very well right now, and he's finding a career resurgence, and Cleveland fans are punching air right now. So I have Baker Mayfield as a tier 3 quarterback, and I think that's completely fair. I think this list right now is completely fair because right now, if you were judging these 4 guys, Baker is the one that you fear the most out of these 4 guys, excuse me. Next, we're going to move on to Bo Nix. And Bo Nix had a pretty good year last year. We're just hoping that it wasn't, just teams not having enough film on him. If you remember what happened with Cam Newton. Now, I'm not saying he's Cam Newton, but Cam Newton was a beast in his rookie year. Move on to the sophomore year, he kind of had a downfall. We're hoping that that's not that way for Bo Nix, but you never know. Sean Payton is going to have him ready. They do have good receiving options. They do have a very good defense. They have a good offensive line. So Bo Nix should be in a good spot right now. I'm going to put him on the same level as Aaron Rodgers. I have him as a tier 4 quarterback because I fear Baker Mayfield a lot more right now than I do of Bo Nix, but that obviously can change. Bo Nix can make a leap and jump into that next category. It's going to be hard for him to get up to the T2s, which we're going to talk about some of those guys who are in the tier 2 option, but right now I think it is fair to have Bo Nix as a tier 4 quarterback. Moving on to Brock Purdy, and a lot of people are going to be mad at me about this. I personally don't fear Brock Purdy as much as I do a Baker Mayfield. I know that he is very accurate. He puts the ball where it needs to go, but the arm strength for me just isn't really there. I mean, yes, he can make the throws, but you saw what happened last year. Yes, his entire team was hurt, but good on him for getting paid. I just don't fear him like I do a Baker Mayfield. If I was playing Baker Mayfield versus Brock Purdy, I am much more scared of Baker Mayfield. I'm just much more scared of the 49ers system than I am. So Brock Purdy, while he is a good quarterback, I can't fully justify putting him into tier 3. I really can't. I fear Baker Mayfield a lot more than I do Brock Purdy. So that's why I have Brock Purdy as a tier 4 quarterback right now in the NFL. Can he prove me wrong and get up to a tier 2? Absolutely he can. But as of right now, Brock Purdy is a tier 4 quarterback in my mind. It's just how I see it, and it's what I believe that he is. Moving on to Bryce Young. Bryce Young, towards the end of last year, played very well, and now he has Tetairoa McMillan, which I think is going to be very good for all of you fantasy owners who have Tetairoa McMillan, because this team's going to be throwing a lot towards the end of games, and I fear Brock Purdy more than I fear Bryce Young. If, we're going it more based off of fear because of how they play. Bryce Young could easily step his way up into a tier 3 role, but right now I would much rather have guys like an Aaron Rodgers, a Bo Nix, a Brock Purdy than I rather would a Bryce Young, and that's why I'm going to put Bryce Young in the tier 5 category. These also are in no order. I could flip these around based off of who's best in tier 4 and tier, but I won't do that for this video. I can if you guys want me to, but right now we won't be doing that. We're going to move on to a guy that I watched his entire career at Ohio State, and that is CJ Stroud. CJ, again, also had a down year, but that offensive line of the Houston Texans is disgustingly bad. But I feel CJ Stroud is still a very, very good quarterback, and that's why I'm going to put him in the tier 3. I think he's very smart. I think he puts zip on the ball. I think he puts the ball where it needs to go. While he's not throwing like he did at Ohio State, as he is for Houston, which is obvious to, you're not going to have as open players as you were going to at Ohio State, where you had first-round picks across the board. Yes, he has Nico Collins, who is a very good wide receiver. You're not having the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s, and you're not having, you know what I'm saying, the Terry McLaurins and the Garrett Wilsons. Nico Collins is good, but he had a lot of production. The Jackson Smith and Jigbas in that Rose Bowl versus Utah. You get what I'm saying. But I really like CJ Stroud, and I like him a lot more than I do Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, and Aaron Rodgers. I'm putting him in the tier 3 category. Moving on to a rookie quarterback. In our first one, we have Cam Ward. Cam Ward, again, I'm not doing the whole cop-out where I'm putting rookies in their own category. Maybe you got to watch some ball. You got to watch some college ball to put these guys in their own category. And this one's tough because I want to put him in between tier 4 and tier 5. And while I really like what he can do, putting zip on the ball, he has very good arm strength. I go back and forth right now because would I rather have a Cam Ward more than I would rather have a Bryce Young? I don't think I would. I honestly think right now I would rather have Bryce Young than I would Cam Ward. But he just has such good talent. He's very smart. But I think right now I'm going to put him as a tier 5 quarterback just because he can get up to a tier 3. I think his absolute ceiling is a tier 2. I don't think he's ever going to be up at this Mahomes level. But he could get to a tier 2. I think more realistically, he's going to be in this echelon. If he was drafted last year, he probably would have been like the 5th quarterback off the board in that draft class. But as of right now, I am going to have Cam Ward as the 5th quarterback 5th tier quarterback. I like Cam Ward. I think he can show a lot. The Titans aren't going to help him out at all. Now, if he was in a system like Brock Purdy is in right now, he's already a tier 3. But right now, even with the Titan system, I don't think you fear him that much. He's just, it's going to be a little bit of a rookie struggle for him, so we'll see. Caleb Williams. I like the leap that Caleb Williams made. I really like what they have going on in Chicago. I like Caleb Williams a lot. I like him more than Aaron Rodgers. I like him more than Bo Nix. I like him more than Brock Purdy. Is he in that tier 2 echelon? Not yet. Not at all, because I don't think he's better than Baker Mayfield or CJ Stroud, but I really do like the jump that Caleb Williams can make this year. I am going to have him as a tier 3 quarterback. Can Caleb Williams get to this level? Absolutely. Can he get to this level? I honestly think he can. But right now, he is a tier 3 quarterback in my mind. Dillon Gabriel, you know, the arm talent for Dillon Gabriel is there. We saw it at Oregon, and the Browns liked him enough to draft him over a Shedeur Sanders. Do I fear Dillon Gabriel more than I do these guys in the tier 5 category? I don't think so. And it's the arms there, the arm talent's there. I can't really like pinpoint exactly why I don't. He's good, but is he NFL good? I don't know. I think he's going to be a good backup in the league right now, and I think he's better than Aiden O'Connell. I actually think I would rather have a Dillon Gabriel than I rather would an Aiden O'Connell. But right now, Dillon Gabriel to me is a tier 6 quarterback. And I think that's perfect. I think that's perfectly fair for Dillon Gabriel. Moving on to Drake May. Drake May had some flashes last year of him being a good franchise quarterback for the New England Patriots, and we're looking to see if he makes that next step and that jump to being a super franchise guy for the Patriots under Mike Vrabel. The Gerard Mayo experience seemingly was a failure. It seems like players didn't really like him there. They really like Mike Vrabel. He did good things with the Tennessee Titans. We'll see if that can translate over to the New England Patriots. Where would I put Drake May right now? I think I would have him as a low tier 4 quarterback. Wow, you fear him a little bit more than an Anthony Richardson. He's a little bit more accurate. He can run. Again, Anthony Richardson, I know this is about Drake May, but Anthony Richardson just needs to put it all together and figure it out. But Drake May right now, I have him as a tier 4 quarterback. Moving on to Dak Prescott, and this is the part that a lot of you are probably going to get mad about because everybody, oh, Dak, he's so good. He's top 5 quarterback in the league. Is he though? I mean, is Dak good? Yes. Is Dak better than these guys in the tier 4 category? Yes. Would I rather have Dak Prescott than I would CJ Stroud? I don't know. Like, this is an immediate yes for me, this tier 4 here. But would I rather have Dak Prescott or CJ Stroud? I couldn't tell you, and that's why I'm putting Dak Prescott as a tier 3 quarterback right now. Can he be a tier 2 guy? Absolutely. But right now, I think Dak Prescott is tier 3, and we'll see what he can do with CeeDee Lamb and now George Pickens. That can vault him into a different stratosphere, not even just a different category. He could be up here, which is a different stratosphere. But right now, I truly believe that Dak Prescott is a tier 3 quarterback in the NFL. Moving on to Deshaun Watson, there's really not much I can say. We haven't seen this guy play much, and when he did play, the guy was terrible. Can he be a serviceable backup right now in the NFL? Sure, but I'm going to have him at a tier 6. There's guys on here that I think are worse, but there's also a lot of guys on here who are absolutely better. Deshaun Watson's career is cooked, if you ask me. Can he figure it out one of these days? Maybe in a good scheme. He's going to be a full-on system quarterback in my mind. He makes dumb decisions. He's getting hurt a lot. Obviously, the off-the-field stuff's weighing on him. I just can't justify having him any higher than a tier 6 quarterback. I really can't. Moving on to Gardner Minshew. I think Gardner Minshew is actually better than Deshaun Watson, but I'm going to put Gardner Minshew in the tier 6 category as well. If I could put Deshaun Watson like back here territory for it, I would. I would much rather have guys like an Anthony Richardson, a Cam Ward, a Bryce Young than I would a Gardner Minshew. While I like Gardner Minshew, I think he would be a very high-end backup in the league, which he is. I can't justify putting him in this tier just because I like these guys a lot better, and I think he's on the same level as an Aiden O'Connell right now. Maybe a little bit better. If I had to put him, like, again, if I had to reorder these, I probably would have him first, Aiden O'Connell, Dillon Gabriel, and then Deshaun Watson, but it's subject. I could have him even as like a low tier 5, but right now I think a tier 6 is very fair for Gardner Minshew. Moving on to Geno Smith, and I like Geno Smith a lot. I think he is a very, very good quarterback in the NFL, and I think he's going to do good things with the Raiders. Is he going to vault them to a championship in the AFC West? Absolutely not. Will he even vault them into a playoff conversation? I don't think so. I think that they will probably be like a spoiler type team right now. If I had to pick, I think it would either be low-end tier 3 or high-end tier 2. I would rather have Dak Prescott right now than I would Geno Smith, but I rather would have Geno Smith than I would Aaron Rodgers. I think right now, it is fair right now to put Geno Smith in the tier 3 category as a low-end tier 3 guy in the NFL. Moving on to Josh Allen. Josh Allen, obviously MVP. Dude is absolutely insane. Potentially the best quarterback in the NFL. It depends on who you ask on any given day. I truly believe that right now he is the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think that there's a single guy, maybe Joe Burrow, but I honestly would rather have Josh Allen. You could argue for Lamar Jackson, but right now I truly think that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL, and that's why he is going in the Mahomes tier. And I'm letting you guys know right now that the Mahomes tier is one guy. It is one, and right now I think he is the best quarterback in the NFL. He is in the Mahomes tier, which we're going to follow up with a tier 2 quarterback, but I know you're going to be like, what do you mean? No, one guy in the Mahomes tier, everybody else moves down, and we are moving on to the next Mahomes tier, or the next tier 2 guy, not Mahomes tier. Here's a tier 2 guy, our first tier 2 guy, and it is going to be Joe Burrow. I really like Joe Burrow a lot. He really doesn't do a lot wrong on the football field. I just think Josh Allen's better than him. And again, with my rankings, there is one quarterback in the Mahomes tier. That is Josh Allen. So, you know, you'd much rather have Joe Burrow over these guys. I can't justify saying I would rather have Joe Burrow over Josh Allen. I really can't. And that's why he is a tier 2 quarterback in my mind. Moving on to our next quarterback, Jayden Daniels, who was electric. Freaking sane. This guy is going to be something special. This guy might be the next guy in this category. Truly. I think that he's going to be able to put it all together this year. They got crushed in the NFC Championship game because of their defense. Yeah, a lot of it goes offense and the defense gives up points, but 55 points in the NFC Championship game, you got to figure it out there. Right now, I have Jayden Daniels as a tier 2 quarterback. I think the dude is electric. I think he's insane. I think that he was a better pick than Caleb Williams. I really like Jayden Daniels. I think if Jayden Daniels was on the Bears last year, the Bears were making a splash. I do. And flip-flop in reverse, you know what I'm saying. Jayden Daniels, I think, was a better pick for that team. I shouldn't say for the team. I just think he was a better pick last year. That makes sense. I think it was a better pick last year. But with the changes for the Chicago Bears, it wouldn't surprise me if Caleb Williams is up here right now. And possibly a sophomore slump can bring Jayden Daniels here. But for right now, this is the list. I think Jayden Daniels, absolutely incredible. He's insane. Jackson Dart, the guy that the Giants traded up to get. Where do I have him ranked? Well, I really like Jackson Dart. He has good size for a quarterback. He does have a good arm. He's good at scrambling. The one thing about him, though, is he does get rattled. You saw it a lot at Ole Miss. He did get rattled at times. And this one is kind of tough for me. I don't know if I would honestly rather have Jackson Dart right now than I would a Drake May. I honestly think I would rather have Drake May. So, to be fair to him, because he's not in this category, I'm going to put him as a tier 5 quarterback. And I don't think he's going to get any playing time to really show, other than maybe preseason, to show that he belongs in this category. But even preseason, I'm not going to give him, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I think I'm already giving him the benefit of the doubt putting him here. I think that he would be, Cam Ward is better than him. So, I think this is perfectly fair for Jackson Dart, a tier 5 quarterback right now in the NFL. And we'll see in years down the line. He has the potential to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be up here. I don't even think he's going to be here. I think he can somehow get to here, especially when you're playing for the Giants. That is just a miserable, brutal being. I mean, best of luck to you, buddy. Right now, though, I have Jackson Dart as a tier 5 quarterback, and I think that is perfectly fair for him. Moving on to Justin Fields. We saw flashes of Justin Fields last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers that looked good. We saw flashes that looked really, really bad. Justin Fields, I like the situation in New York for the extent that they can now morph and change up their running game to have him incorporated in it. You couldn't really do that last year with Aaron Rodgers, considering he was a 40-year-old quarterback with an Achilles injury. But Justin Fields right now could probably open up some more offensive plays and scheme things that the Jets haven't seen in a while. I like Justin Fields a lot. I think that I would put Justin Fields in the tier 4 category. I think I would rather have him than these guys right here in the tier 5 category. There are games that he's here. There are games that he's here. But that's why I'm going to put him here. Because he can win you a game. He's also going to lose you a game. That's the thing about this tier here. These guys can absolutely win a game for you. But they are maybe 50% of the time going to lose the game for you. Just a stupid mistake or their age is showing. You know what I'm saying. Just stuff like that. I think that this is perfectly fair for Justin Fields being a tier 4 quarterback. Let's move on to Jared Goff, where the Detroit Lions last year, absolutely, they're nuts. They were nuts until that playoff game versus Jayden Daniels. Jared Goff kind of slipped and fell off of a cliff in that playoff game, but I'm not going to hold that against him too much because of his body of work throughout the entire season. I really like Jared Goff as a quarterback. He puts the ball where it needs to go. That scheme, though, that he had in Detroit, we'll see if Ben Johnson was the absolute real deal when he gets to Chicago. I still think even without Ben Johnson, Jared Goff is going to figure it out. He is a tier 3 quarterback in my mind. Moving on to Justin Herbert, and you see all the time on social media, Justin Herbert's bad, Justin Herbert's good. Which one do I believe? I lean more towards he's good. I think Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. Is he the best quarterback? No. Is he better than Joe Burrow? No. Is he worse than Aaron Rodgers? No. And that is why I think it is fair to have him as a tier 3 quarterback in the NFL. I think that is perfectly fair for him. Is he on the higher end of a tier 3 quarterback? I would rather have him over Caleb Williams. Would I rather have him right now over Baker Mayfield? Potentially. So we could probably see him slot here as like the highest end tier 3. But I think I would rather have Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow than I would Justin Herbert right now. Moving on to another quarterback that is very controversial. A lot of people think that he's here. A lot of people think that he's here. I'm not even going to say that he's here. I like Jalen Hurts a lot for his running ability. The guy is a pretty accurate passer as well. He does have some really good weapons in Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I really like Jalen Hurts, though. I think he is, a very good quarterback. It obviously showed in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that D-line was crazy for Philly getting to Patrick Mahomes. But this is going to be controversial for a lot of people. I have Jalen Hurts as a tier 2 quarterback, and I think that's perfectly fair. I can't say that I think I would. I don't know if I would rather have him over Jaden Daniels or not right now. It's tough. That's a tough call. I know I wouldn't rather have him over Joe Burrow, but Jaden Daniels right now, that is a tough call, to be honest, if you ask me. But I really, really like Jalen Hurts. I think he is a tier 2 quarterback in this league. You can fight with me in the comments about that. I think that is a perfectly fair tier for Jalen Hurts, 100%. Moving on to Jordan Love. Jordan Love, we're hoping that this Matthew Golden draft can help him out because they had no receivers last year, no receiving threats whatsoever. Hoping that something can happen with him. I'm hoping that things will get better for Jordan Love. I think right now it is fair to say that he is a tier 3 quarterback in the NFL. He's going to win you some shootout games. He's going to lose you some dumb games. I like Jordan Love a lot. I think he's in this same tier as all these guys here in a tier 3 category. Jordan Love, good quarterback. Would rather have him over Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, all these guys here. But I wouldn't rather have him in this category. I think these guys are just different compared to a Jordan Love. Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is an interesting draft pickup for the Seattle Seahawks. He has really good wheels. He's very good on the ground. Throwing, it's there. I mean, I don't think that he's in the tier of a Cam Ward or even a Jackson Dart. He would have been drafted there. But I would much rather have him right now, honestly, over all of the rest of these guys. Maybe not like Gardner Minshew, but I think it's fair right now to put Jalen Milroe in the tier 6 category. I think that's perfectly fair for him. Moving on. The most polarizing quarterback in all of the NFL. This dude is fun personified, and the Giants got a good one. I am beyond jealous of them, and I'm beyond upset because we're not really going to see him play this year unless something happens to Russ. No, I don't want that to happen, but I think that Jameis Winston should always have a shot in this league to throw the ball and show off his stuff and not sitting on the bench. I am so sad that we might not see him, but I really like Jameis Winston, but sadly, I got to put him as a tier 5 quarterback. I honestly would rather have Jameis Winston over every other guy in this tier 5 category, though. I think Jameis is a gunslinger to the best extent. He's gonna throw 30 interceptions, but he'll throw 45 touchdowns. He just makes the game exciting. He is the type of quarterback that I wish the Steelers had ever since Ben Roethlisberger left. Jameis Winston is the man. I am so sad that he's probably going to sit the bench all year, but I have him as a tier 5 quarterback in the NFL. And there are flashes and there are games where he can be a tier 3 guy. I think it is perfectly fair to have Jameis Winston as a tier 5 quarterback in the NFL. Kirk Cousins, Kirko Bands. He struggled mightily last year He struggled mightily last year for the Falcons, and he lost his job to Michael Penix Jr., who we will be getting to here later. Kirk Cousins, again, is also polarizing because you thought, oh, the Steelers may trade for him. Oh, he might be going to, they wouldn't trade him to the Saints because that's in the division, but, maybe the Browns, but then they had 8 quarterbacks on their roster. It's strange. The last time we saw Kirk Cousins, he wasn't good, but then a little bit before that, he was very good, and that's why he got that huge contract with the Falcons. But as of right now, I would have him at a low tier 5 quarterback. Could I argue that he could push into tier 4? Maybe, but I would rather have these guys in the tier 4 category right now than I would Kirk Cousins. And I guess I'll just get right to it. His predecessor in Michael Penix Jr., I think he's good, but I think I would still rather have all of these guys in the tier 4 category. I'm just going to put him in the tier 5 as well, but he's ahead of Kirk Cousins because he's better than Kirk Cousins right now. But I don't think I would rather have him over these guys. He's like a middle end tier 5 quarterback to me right now in the NFL. Kyle McCord, this one is weird. The kid can throw the ball. He showed at Ohio State that he can throw the ball. He balled out at Syracuse, and he got picked by Philly, which means he's probably not going to see the field much. It's hard to judge him, but, I like Kyle McCord a lot. I don't know if I would rather have him over a Jalen Milroe, maybe even a Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. I think that this is our first victim of the tier 7 category, and that is where I'm going to put Kyle McCord in the tier 7 category. I like Kyle McCord. Watched him for that year at Ohio State, but it's brutal sometimes with him, and I don't know. We'll see. He's not really going to get a chance to showcase his stuff because he's playing in Philly with one of my tier 2 quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts, but I don't know. I don't really feel bad about putting him in tier 7. I think that's fair. I would rather have all of these guys here than I would a Kyle McCord. Let's move on to Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray rides the waves. He's up, he's down, he's good, he's bad. I hope he can figure it out. I like Kyler Murray a lot. It is just so fun watching him run around like a toddler in the backfield. Kyler's a good quarterback in my mind. He is not at the level of these guys, but I think he's in this category. Would I rather have him over a Jordan Love? I don't know, but I would much rather have him over every one of these guys in this category. I'm going to put Kyler Murray as a low-end tier 3 quarterback with the potential of him being a higher-end tier 3. I don't think he's going to get to this level this year, even if he, extremely balls out. I don't know. I have him as a high-end tier 3 a low-end tier 3 quarterback with the potential of being a higher-end type guy. All right, I believe this is Curtis York, and for Curtis York, I think he's in the same category as a Kyle McCord. While I think he's good, I don't think I would rather have him over guys like Aiden O'Connell and, Dylan Gabriel. All right, we're going to go with Curtis York now, and I think Curtis York is the second member of our tier 7 category. While, he did good at Indiana. He took Indiana to a playoff game. I don't know if I can justify putting him anywhere higher than guys like an Aiden O'Connell or even a Deshaun Watson, a Jalen Milroe. I think he's our next victim of the tier 7 category. Moving on with Lamar Jackson, there is potential that you could put him here. But to me, again, personally, I think that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. But this at any moment can change because Lamar Jackson is just that good. I think that he is the top end of the tier 2 guys. Because again, I only have one guy in that Mahomes tier, and that is Josh Allen. But Lamar Jackson is the highest end tier 2 quarterback you can get. If I had a Mahomes 1A and a Mahomes 1B, Lamar Jackson is Mahomes 1B. The guy is just absolutely that good. Can this flip this year? Absolutely it can. 100% it can. But right now, I think that this is the best tiers for both of them. I think Josh Allen, best quarterback in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, the highest tier of tier 2 you can get. Matt Stafford. I am excited to see what Matt Stafford can do with Puka Nacua and now Devontae Adams. Oh my God, it's going to be disgusting. But is he a tier 2 guy? He's not. He's really not. I like Matt Stafford a lot, though. I have Matt Stafford as a tier 3 guy. Obviously better than all these guys in this tier. Not up here. Not up here. But he is a middle of the road. I would argue I would rather have Matt Stafford than like a Dak Prescott right now. So Matt Stafford to me, tier 3, I think that seems perfectly fair. This one, I mean, everyone's like, oh, why isn't Patrick Mahomes in the Mahomes tier? Why did I sound like the gingerbread man from Shrek there? But Patrick Mahomes, obviously one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Not better than Josh Allen right now, though. I know that he always beats his team, but I think that's more of just the Chiefs owning the Bills in every facet and selling their soul to the devil. But Patrick Mahomes is obviously a tier 2 quarterback, just not in that Mahomes tier right now where Josh Allen is. Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers was very polarizing coming out of college. You know, he was projected to be like one of the top quarterbacks off the board. Fell all the way down to the 7th round. You know, would I put him in this category? I don't think so. I think he's another victim of the tier 7. And you know what? It makes sense. 7th rounder goes in tier 7. So that's how we're going to do it. Russell Wilson. I think the Giants are making a huge mistake by starting Russell Wilson over a guy like a Jameis Winston or even over a guy like a Jackson Dart. I truly think it's a mistake. I don't think Russell Wilson has it anymore. We saw it in Pittsburgh. The guy could play, just not well. He could play, just not well. This might make a lot of people mad. I think Russell Wilson's a tier 6 quarterback right now. I honestly would rather have every single one of these guys as my starting quarterback than I would Russell Wilson. I just didn't see it last year that could even justify him being here. Definitely not here. He's here. And there are times that he's here, and it's like down here. Russell Wilson right now, tier 6 quarterback. I think that's perfectly fair. Moving on. Now, here's the thing. We're going to be loading up this tier 3 category, but there's a lot of like subpar decent quarterbacks in the NFL. We're going to add another one to it, and that is going to be Sam Darnold, who got a huge payday from the Seattle Seahawks, and he balled out last year. Part of it is like, is it actually him? Was it Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison? Was it all, you know, the scheme of the Vikings? I don't know, but I think that Sam Darnold's a good quarterback in the NFL. I think that a tier 3 quarterback is very fair. I think he's on the lower end. I think he's a lower end tier 3 guy, down like in the Kyler Murray category, but he's still a tier 3 guy because I would much rather have him over all of these guys in the tier 4 category right now, but I wouldn't obviously rather have him in this category here. Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, this one's tough because I really don't know where to put him if I want to put him here. I think that he's a decent backup in the NFL. I do. I think he could be all right. He could sling the ball. He had his problems in college with his behavioral stuff, you know, whatever. I think he's fine. Not going to win you games, but he's going to lose you games. But he could also be like a serviceable type quarterback. I would rather have Russell Wilson over him, and that's saying a lot. But I don't think he's in this tier right here. I will put Spencer Rattler as a tier 6 guy. And moving on from there, I guess I'll just stick with the guy who's probably going to be starting over him, which is Tyler Schluck, whatever his name is. I think he's also a tier 6 guy. I think that the Saints are just waiting in the whims for Arch Manning to come out, and then they're going to make their move and trade whatever they need to trade, lose as many games as they need to lose just to go out and get an Arch Manning. But right now, the Saints quarterback situation is bad, and they have 2 tier 6 guys, in my opinion, on their roster. Spencer Rattler, Tyler Schluck, whatever his name is. Dude's like a 35-year-old quarterback with 18 broken legs and who knows what else, shoulder surgeries, and they're not good right now. They are going to be probably bottom of the barrel in the NFL. And the rest of the roster isn't bad, but they have no quarterback play. They are screwed. They are probably going to lose the NFC South by a few games, if you had to ask me right now.
They told me bust out my AP, perfect timing. Diamonds on my neck, they stay shining.
Shedeur Sanders, the guy that everybody thought was a first-round pick in the NFL. Where is he going to be ranked? Well, obviously, he's going to be in Mahomes tier if this was a Mel Kiper category. But no, let's be reasonable right now. You know, I like Shedeur. I do. But I don't even know if I would put him in this category. I think that he's a tier 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. Because it went back and forth on these three guys. Like, oh, who are you taking? Blah, these guys, you know. The talent is there for Shedeur Sanders. Now, I don't know if I would rather have Shedeur right now than a Bryce Young, a Michael Penix. I don't know. But I know for a fact I would rather have these guys than Shedeur right now. So I think I'm going to put Shedeur Sanders as a tier 5 quarterback in the NFL and wait and see, because he has the potential to be here in this tier 3. But I think tier 5 is reasonable and fair for Shedeur Sanders until he gets on the field and proves it. But he has to go through Kenny Pickett, which that's whatever. Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. Like, there is just quarterback galore on that roster. But I think Shedeur Sanders is the best of the bunch. It's just going to take him a little bit to find his footing and to get on the field. Moving on, this is where I said we are loading up the tier 3 category. I'm just going to let you know we have back-to-back tier 3 guys. We have Trevor Lawrence and we have Tua Tagovailoa. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. Hopefully he can take that next step. Now with Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, that is absolutely disgusting. Tua, the Dolphins are in a very tough spot while they still have Devon Achane, Waddle, Tyreek Hill possibly. Who knows what's going else? They did get rid of Jonnu Smith, who was a Pro Bowl tight end. It does seem like they're looking to make a trade. Does somebody like a Kyle Pitts make sense to bring into Miami? I don't know. We'll see what they do. I like Tua as a quarterback. I don't like the concussions that he's getting, but I think that when Tua's on the field and healthy, he's somebody you fear. And, you know, I think you fear him more than these guys right now. Could I argue that Tua's a tier 4 quarterback? Maybe, but I think tier 3, low tier 3 is fair. Perfectly fair for him. Two guys, first of all, Will Levis obviously is a tier 7. The dude stinks. Brother, this guy stinks. And then we'll finish it off. Will Howard. Will Howard, to me, could be the next Big Ben. We'll see what the Steelers do after Aaron Rodgers retires, because it is his final year in the NFL potentially. Will the Steelers go the route of drafting a quarterback high, or will they give Will Howard a shot? Again, he's probably not the next Big Ben. If he was the next Big Ben, he would have been drafted that way. But he has the talent to do it. He has, you know, the mobility, the size. The arm strength isn't as Big Ben caliber, but I think Will Howard right now, good tier 6 quarterback. I think if Will Howard was the starting quarterback of the Saints would be in a better position than they are right now with Spencer Rattler and Tyler Schlau. So I have him as a tier 6 quarterback, and I think that is completely fair. So that is my tier list. Every single quarterback that was on this tier list. I didn't make it. I found it on here. So thank you to RRTUNH. Thank you for making this list. I appreciate it very much. This is our tier list. How did I make you mad? Let me know that in the comments down below. Be sure to follow, hit the subscribe button as well if you like these tier list videos. And again, let me know how I made you mad. Hey, have a beautiful day, everybody. Peace out.